Welcome to First Lutheran Church. First Lutheran is located on the corner of Church and A Streets. It is Marshall's largest Lutheran church. All of the members who worship and participate in the programs and activities here at First Lutheran invite you to become a part of our church. My name is Mark Schwanebeck, and I invite you to take part in our new membership program, We Are First Lutheran. We want you to feel welcome here at First Lutheran.
Hi, I'm Pastor Randy Freund, and we're glad that you're spending some time with us today to get better acquainted with First Lutheran Church.
Hi, I'm Pastor Jeff Swan. We're glad that you're here with us this evening to learn a little more about First Lutheran. This is the place where people usually see us, standing in front of the congregation. But the church is far more than just the worshiping community. Pastor Freund and I would like to share a little bit about that with you as we look at our theme, Serving the Gospel, Reaching the World.
In order to understand First Lutheran, it's important to understand a little bit about the community of Marshall. And Marshall is a stable community and yet a growing regional center, and that reflects the blend that we see at First Lutheran. First Lutheran is full of families for whom it's a foundation. They are either charter members themselves or have relatives that are charter members of First Lutheran. But for others, First Lutheran is more like a wayside rest. As Marshall is a transitional town, we have many families that move in and out of Marshall and thus move in and out of First Lutheran. It's also an exciting place for new families to create new roots in the community and in this church. And we try to respond with sensitivity to whatever group you find yourself in. There's something at First Lutheran we feel for everyone. A couple of the unique features, I think, that we're proud of at First Lutheran is our commitment to staffing. We're a church that sees programmatic needs as important, and with a full-time parish worker, a full-time youth director, minister of music, our two secretaries, a janitor, and then Pastor Swanson and myself, we feel like we have a very exciting staff that's committed to the mission of this church. We also have a unique 14-year partnership with Lutheran Social Service and have two counselors that provide services 4 days a week here at First Lutheran. So we feel like with those features that we have, and that's a commitment to staffing, that we can offer something for everybody. But really, what really makes First Lutheran run, what makes it an exciting place for me to be a pastor, are the people. At any given weekend, it takes perhaps 100 volunteers to pull off what we do at First Lutheran on a Saturday and a Sunday. And we take seriously the gifts that people bring. We take seriously what you bring from other churches or what you would like to see happen here. And any of us who work here know that what makes this an exciting place to do ministry is the people and their commitment. We feel like this is our corner of the world, and part of the way of serving the gospel and reaching the world happens through what we do right here.
When I think about First Lutheran, I think about partnership. And I think about that partnership beginning here in the baptismal font, where God lays his claim upon us in the water and word of baptism. We're fortunate here at First Lutheran to share that partnership with 1,800 members and over 700 families. But that partnership does not end there. We're partners in ministry with the Southwest Minnesota Synod of the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America. In Southwest Minnesota, over 300 congregations gather weekly for worship 140,000 people gathered in mission and ministry for the sake of Jesus Christ. Those same people gathered not only in southwest Minnesota, but across the United States. 5.2 million Lutherans joining hands together, hands wet in the water of baptism, joined together for mission for the sake of Christ. In the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America, 11,000 congregations. So as we gather on Sunday morning here in this place, the partnership of the gospel is not just in Marshall, but around the world as Lutherans in every country of the world celebrate the diversity and the uniqueness and the grace which God gives us in our baptism. We're fortunate, too, to share that partnership here in this congregation as we celebrate together and seek to join hands with all brothers and sisters around the world. It would be good for people to get kind of a sense about Martin Luther as we gather as Lutherans. Maybe we should say a few things about him, setting the time frame for him that he was born 9 years before Columbus discovered America. Luther was born in 1483. He became a priest and celebrated his first Mass in 1507.
And one of the things we remember about that Mass, or as the stories go anyway, was that his father was not real happy that he became a priest, and remarked after the service, there was a time, Martin, when children obeyed the fourth commandment and they honored their father and mother, and didn't do what Hans wanted to become a lawyer, but Martin had other ideas.
He certainly did have other ideas. One of the famous things that he's most credited with, of course, is the posting of the 95 Theses and the beginning of the Reformation in 1517.
And it's important, I think, to know that those were written in Latin. Martin Luther did not want to divide the church. He's often kind of been thought of that way. He wanted to reform the church from within. He wrote those 95 Theses in Latin so it could be a scholarly debate, but somehow the word leaked out and the Reformation was on.
During that whole time of turmoil that was caused in the Reformation, the excommunication of Luther happened in 1521, and his books are burned.
Yeah. He was requested to come to Worms. It's called the Diet of Worms, kind of a funny term. But he was asked to recant everything he wrote, and when it's known that when Luther got that notice, he had a public ceremony, a public bonfire, to burn the notice from the Pope because he thought he was right. And it's quite a thing to stand up to who he stood up to.
And he was even married in 1525 to Catherine von Bora.
Yeah, a strong woman. The word is that there were 6 nuns and 6 priests that kind of lined up. He said it wasn't a very romantic thing, but it grew into a real romance, and they had 4 children, and the Luther household was a busy place. As many as 60 people there in one time. Luther invited everybody in, and probably drove his wife crazy.
One of the things that was most important to Martin Luther was that people know their Bible. And in order to help them do that, he published and wrote the small catechisms and the large catechism in 1529.
Yeah, Luther was alive, of course, at the time of the printing press, and he exploited it to the max. At one time in Germany's history, 85% of everything written was from the hand of Martin Luther. And much of his writing happened in hiding because his life was in danger after the excommunication, and he did much of his writing from the Wartburg Castle while he was his identity was kept in secret.
You and I have talked a lot about partnership, and Luther certainly celebrated that partnership together with those who joined him in the Reformation. One of those was a man named Philip Melanchthon, who actually wrote the Augsburg Confession in 1530.
Yeah, he was Luther's right-hand man, and really is kind of the unsung hero of the Reformation.
And then Luther dies from stroke in 1546.
Now, Luther had ill health his whole life, and he had trouble with kidney stones toward the end, and then he finally died of a stroke at age 63. But Whatever else Martin Luther was, for sure he was a faithful servant of God's Word, and now some 500 plus years later, we have benefited from the way he made the gospel come alive.
First English Lutheran Church was formally organized in February of 1925. It was called English because the language spoken during the church service was English. Reverend C.N. Sandagger was the first pastor. The 50 members had no official place to worship, so the Episcopal Church on the corners of 5th and Main Street was rented. The old Presbyterian Church was purchased later that year for $3,000. This building was located on the corner of 5th and Lion Streets. A Sunday school of 20 children and a ladies' aid group was organized that same year. In 1940, land was purchased and ground was broken to build a new church. This new building was completed in 1941. Additional Sunday school rooms, office space, and so forth were added in 1949 and 1956. More construction took place in 1985, which included a new entrance, a friendship room, elevator, church library, and office space.
The staff at First Lutheran Church consists of Pastor Jeff Swanson, Custodian Lon Gorecki, Pastor Randy Freund, Church Secretaries Deanne Newman and Jane Wilkinson, Minister of Music Jane Christensen, Youth Director Tanya Tomasic, and Parish Worker Carlos Knutson. At this time, Jane Wilkinson will share information about First Lutheran.
First Lutheran Church provides opportunities for people of all ages to become involved in the mission and fellowship within the church and the community. The church provides support to the local food shelf, the Home Delivered Meals program, Tech Lutheran Bible Camp, SSU Campus Ministry, Lutheran Social Services, and helps to sponsor an ELCA missionary. Members and visitors are invited to gather each Sunday between services for coffee and fellowship. Our nursery co-op provides adult supervision during worship, the coffee hour, and Sunday school. Volunteer van drivers provide transportation for worship and fellowship events. The church is handicap accessible with an elevator providing access to the main levels of the building. First Lutheran women meet twice a month for quilt making, for missions locally and worldwide. A visiting ministry group provides a caring support to our shut-ins through regular visits.
Hi, I'm Corliss Knutson, the parish worker here at First Lutheran Church, and I'd like to tell you about the quality of our Christian education here at First Lutheran. It's very important for us to grow in our faith and to pass on that faith with everybody that we meet. We start out with baptism, and we as parents, one of the most important things that we want for our children is to know and love the Lord. And we have promised through baptism that we will bring our children faithfully to the Lord's house, teach them the Lord's Prayer, the Creed, and the Ten Commandments. And as they grow in years, we place in their hands the Holy Scriptures and provide for their instruction in the Christian faith. So to start off with, we have a program called Nurturing God's Child. I visit the parents in their new baby in the hospital and bring them a packet and call Nurturing God's Child. And this is the first packet, and when the child is 1 year old, they get a second, and 2 year old, the third packet. And then by the time the child turns 3, they are willing and very encouraged to come to Sunday school. We offer Sunday school here for 3-year-olds through seniors in high school.
I love to go to Sunday school, I love to sing the songs, but I hate to see a vacant pew, I know there's something wrong. I want the Lord to be proud of me, His work I'll gladly do. I know a song will get them in, listen and learn it too. Come to the byway, tell on the highway, tell 'em that you're their friend. Tell 'em the church is open, they're welcome to drop in. Talk just a little bit, sing just a little bit, throw in a smile or two. But heavy on the howdy-do, for the Lord is counting on you.
The curriculum that we are using now is called Rejoice, and we are learning them to tell the story of Jesus. The Sunday school is our major educational unit because it involves so many people. It's over 450 children with 60 volunteer teachers that teach each Sunday morning. We're so proud of our Sunday school. I'm so pleased that we can have a quality Christian education. Another program is Vacation Bible School. And there we learn 5 stories every year using the Arch books that use hands-on. We tell these stories, sing the songs, do a craft, have the snack, all that goes along with that Bible story, so the child is just immersed in that Bible story, so they really know it. The confirmation program here at First Lutheran begins in 2nd grade with worship education. This is for 2nd graders and their parents. Then in 3rd grade, the 3rd graders get a new Bible and the small catechism. For 4th graders and their parents, it's learning about prayer and family devotions. In 5th grade, it's First Communion. In 6th grade, it's the Christian aspects of human sexuality. In 7th and 8th and 9th grade is the intentional confirmation with the 7th graders with the Old Testament and the 8th grade with the New Testament. And 9th graders then do Lutheran doctrine and the Apostles' Creed, the Lord's Prayer. Then at the beginning of the sophomore year, that student is confirmed. For adult education, we really believe in lifelong learning. There are a number of things offered for adults also. Weekly Bible studies, Sunday morning Bible studies, men's Bible studies, couples, and circles. We have 6 circles at First Lutheran, one that meets at 6 in the morning, a couple at 9:30 in the morning, at noon, and at 2 p.m. There's a prayer group and a prayer chain. Also God Moms and Kids for parents of preschoolers and elementary school age children. The library that I'm sitting in is shelved with many Christian books and good videos that you are welcome to come in and check out whenever you'd like. We're so pleased with our Christian education at First Lutheran, and we're anxious for you to become a part of it so you too can grow in your faith and to pass that faith along to your children and to everyone that you meet. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tanya Tomasik, and I'm the youth director at First Lutheran. Here at First Lutheran, we have a youth ministry program that's to youth, with youth, and by youth. It's a ministry that's integrated into the rest of the congregation and not separated from it at all. It's the adults and youth together working on the church's mission. We have a program at First Lutheran that has 3 different groups. Little League is made up of the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders, Junior League, the 7th and 8th graders, and Senior League, the high school, or the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. With every program that we do at First Lutheran, it's real important that we have 4 different elements included in it. We have the Word or study, we have worship, we have service in and amongst the congregation and also outside within the community and beyond. We also have fun and fellowship because we do believe that there's a lot of faith that happens in fun and fellowship. We also believe at First Lutheran that camping ministry is very important to the congregation and to the spiritual growth of youth. And for this reason, we're really involved with Chetek Lutheran Bible Camp, as well as the summer programs that the camp provides for our elementary and junior high and high school age kids. We go to Chetek throughout the whole year with different retreats and gatherings for weekends. The summer program at Chetek is really important for our elementary age kids. We have a large number of kids that go to Chetek for the summer. We also have a large number of high school kids who help with the CIT program, or the Counselor in Training program. Our junior high kids during the summer sometimes like to take a different taste of camp. So for that reason, we take them on a summer trip to a different Bible camp that gives them a completely different outlook from your normal camp that's based on a lake. And then with our senior high kids, every summer we take a different trip, and it's on a 3-year rotation. 1 year will be the National Youth Gathering, where a variety of students will come together, probably ranging between 30 and 40,000 that gather together in a city in the United States. It's a huge trip, and it happens once every 3 years. The other 2 years with our senior high program varies on going to a Bible camp for just a faith-filled adventure, to the other summer being more of a servant-oriented or a missions trip. We have a lot of different things to offer at First Lutheran for our youth. They're highly encouraged to be a part of the whole congregation and not stay separate from your old Luther League, if that's what you want to call it. First Lutheran is definitely youth ministry with the congregation, and First Lutheran is very supportive of their youth group. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jane Christensen, the Minister of Music. At First Lutheran Church, we strive to make our worship meaningful and convenient. We have 3 times of worship every weekend. Once a month, we have our praise service. This is our version of alternative worship, and it features contemporary Christian music accompanied by guitars, drums, and electronic instruments. While worshiping at First Lutheran, you will see a wide variety of choirs. For our children, ages 4 through 1st grade, we have a star choir. The Alleluia choir is for children grades 2 through 6. Our women's choir sings twice a month. We have a men's choir, which sings occasionally throughout the year for special events. And if you prefer a mixed ensemble of men and women, we have the senior choir. But that's not all. We also have a handbell choir, First Lutheran strings, and a brass choir. We're really blessed at First Lutheran with all the talent. Music is not the only way in which you can serve on a weekend. We rely heavily on volunteers to fill spots such as lectors, ushers, communion assistants, and altar guild members. If you become involved in worship, you will probably find your worship to be even more meaningful for you. We invite you to do that.
First Lutheran Church is a special place to each of us. We are very happy to welcome you to our church family. First Lutheran Church is located on the corner of Church and A Streets. To find First Lutheran from East College Drive, turn south on Whitney Street. Then turn west on Church Street. To find First Lutheran from Main Street, you must turn east on A Street. We look forward to having you visit and participate at the worship services and programs that First Lutheran Church offers. You are welcome to join us as together we serve the gospel and reach the world.